love the channel and find it useful in becoming a happy retiree. Subscribe today. We're going back to Joe from Alpharetta, who has a house here in Alpharetta. Joe, you back with me?
Yes.
You are a sweetheart for holding. Thank you. Number one. Number two, I want to get back to try to give you an answer here. The first house, 1150 times 12, you're getting about $14,000 a year in rent, divided by the price of that house today of $300,000. If you're really just looking at, I guess a real estate person would say this, what's the cap rate? If I divide 14,000 divided by 300,000, you're going to get 4.6, about 4.5%, 4.6%. And that's a little bit low, obviously, because you're wanting to see, for rental property, you want to see this thing closer to 8 to 10%. But in your case, I would say that as long as you're getting some sort of positive cash flow here, the reason you'd be keeping is that you're going to eventually use it. You're going to eventually go and live in that house. And
right.
I would say that if you really did the math, there's got to be some maintenance on this house, right? It's not in perfect condition. You mean you're having to keep it up a little bit, right?
Yes, but I included in that I have a maintenance agreement that I pay $450 a year for, so that's covered in the expenses that I included.
And then, so your net rental percentage rate of return on this asset. So I think of houses kind of like bonds, and I look at it and I say, well, if I have a house that is worth $100,000, and if I have, what can I do with that house? If it's renting for $833 a month, that's $10,000. $10,000 divided by $100,000 is 10%. That's a pretty good deal as a landlord. In your case, I'd like to see for a $300,000 house, I'd like to see you getting closer to $30,000 in rent, which divided by 12 would be $2,500 a month. So the going rate to get a 10% payout, if you will, or a 10% yield on that asset would be around $2,500 a month. You've already said you're charging below rent anyway, just because you have a really good tenant. So right now it's not a great deal from a cash flow perspective. It's been a great asset because it's appreciated so much, and
right.
So if you had called me and said, hey, I just have these two rental houses, I never plan to use them, I'd say, you know what, now, Joe, is probably a good time to take your money and run, because you're just not, it's a lot of work to maintain a house, especially out of state, and you're getting and in this case, after maintenance, you're probably getting a 3% annual rate of return on that. And that's just that's a low yield, if you will, for a lot of work. Because you buy a government treasury bond today and get 2.5% with no work. So but I would say that if you're going to use it and you love that particular house and it's going to be a home in 3 to 5 years for you, then absolutely you want to keep it, because at least it's paying for itself. The second house, the cap rate, let's see what that one is. So $1,700 a month times 12 is $20,000. 400 divided by 350,000, and that's about a 6% rate of return. Again, below I want to see 8 to 10% at least. You're at about 6 after expenses. You're probably closer to 5 or even 4.5. So that one, I would say right now, that's the one. If you're going to sell one of the two, it's the second home that, again, it's appreciated. I know that both of these, you've made a lot of money from an appreciation standpoint. If you're going to sell one of the two, then it would be the second home here. If they're not a lot of work, Joe, and if you're not constantly getting bombarded by maintenance, and it's, oh, there's bugs that I need to exterminate, I need to do a new air conditioner, I need new plumbing, there's a leak, I need a new roof. If it's a constant maintenance issue and you're out of state and you're going back and forth, you're having to pay somebody there to do all this, then it is no way is it worth a 5% net rate of return, or maybe 4.5%. You can buy a utility stock that'll give you 5% a year and you don't have to do any work. So real estate has to be in a really nice cash flow position, close to 10%, 8 to 10%, and you have to get some appreciation. Now, you've gotten the appreciation piece. So my thought would be, over time, if it were me, I'd probably be looking to sell the second rental, keep the first rental, pay off Alpharetta. Then you've got a house here in the city, or at least near Atlanta, a house on the coast for retirement. And that to me sounds like an awesome, awesome plan. And oh, by the way, multiple streams of income. The income that's coming off of this house, and then maybe you rent Alpharetta, is an additional income stream in retirement, which I love. So I'd love to see you keep at least one or two of the three properties. Joe, hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for listening to Money Matters. Hi, I'm Wes Moss, and thanks for taking a minute to hear about what's so different about my new book, You Can Retire Sooner Than You Think. So unlike other retirement books, this book will give you a step-by-step guide, whether you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, to learn from what these successful and happy retirees did to get there. I hope you enjoy the book, but more importantly, I know that it'll help you retire sooner than you think.